They dip down, and now my concern is they are becoming very, very mainstream again, and I don't like that. But it is happening.
So they wrote a paper about it?
Yeah, like their school newspaper.
So they wrote an article about it?
Yeah.
Okay. They wrote a paper for a teacher on a time they got stoned and went and used a Ouija board? Really?
Why not?
It just seems kind of bad taste.
Vermont, it's a different scene up there.
Well,
people are laid back.
Even still.
It's cool. I'm going to move to Vermont one day.
Okay. They have beautiful scenery there.
I love Vermont so much.
Every time I drive, I go up 89, and I'll go over the White River Junction, and there's like this big hill in front of me, and I'm just convinced that it's like fake scenery that they brought in from Hollywood somewhere.
It's so gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
It's so beautiful. So the land I'm looking to purchase for my Privet Putts is like 10 minutes from the Vermont border.
That's a long way away.
It's very far away. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Many people who have visited this bridge, Emily's Bridge, have experienced a lot of paranormal activity, which is why we're talking about it, such as scratch marks appearing on the vehicles that were parked on the bridge and being touched or scratched by Emily's ghost.
Why is she scratching people? See, you're a ghost. Why you gotta scratch? Why you gotta be like that?
I have a comment on that when I'm done with this.
Okay.
Often strange noises are heard on the bridge, such as footsteps, ropes tightening, and a girl screaming. Many have also reported seeing a white apparition around the area of Emily's Bridge. People that park their vehicles on the haunted bridge say they tend to hear banging noises from Emily hitting the vehicle on the outside or dragging sound along the top of their cars. The most distinct paranormal events seem to take place around the hours of 12 a.m. to 3:30 a.m., and that is very common. Those are the witching hours. That's the time most paranormal activity does occur. It's between those hours. So what I want to say about people scratching, I do not believe that is Emily. Typically, in my research as a ghost hunter, if you are getting scratched by something in a haunted area, it is a non-human entity. Now, I bring this up because what else had gone on in 1968 on the bridge?
Somebody used a Ouija board.
Exactly.
And brought in the non-human entity.
Yes, which is very common, and that is what we always say on this podcast. Please don't mess around with Ouija boards, because you don't know what you're doing, and now people are getting scratched, and their cars are getting damaged, and that's on you. That's on you. That's your fault. You live with that. Tragic.
Very. No, I would absolutely have agreed with that. It just seems like between the first stoned high school kids in 1968 and then the repetitive opening of that door by other people on the bridge with the Ouija board that you talked about, like that. Sorry, I'm not going to go investigate there because there could be a demon.
Yeah, we don't do that.
No.
But it's an interesting story. It's also interesting to me, red wedding dress.
So this was something I was thinking about, and I can't keep interrupting you because then you never get through the story. But I just feel like so many of these like bride-to-bes, they decide to get married, and then the groom skips out on them at their wedding, and then they go and kill themselves.
Yeah, I would.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean,
I usually think of you as a much stronger.
I was going to say as a feminist, I mean, I wouldn't, but I might.
Well, I
wouldn't be happy.
It just makes me wonder how many of those women were pregnant. And now they just can't go through with the shame of being an unmarried woman with a child. They're forever.
I never thought about that.
So red wedding dress. Even in today's very modern, do what you like, be you kind of thing that everybody's out there doing. Like, I don't think that there's many red wedding dresses going on.
Not for first weddings.
Oh, definitely. Not even for a second.
Second weddings. I know people who kind of just do whatever they want.
Yeah, but even still, like, red just isn't like a color that...
Sexy. It's sexy.
Yeah, but that's generally not.
Hey, I mean...
I don't know.
It's a different time.
Okay. I was thinking most people, you do like a blue, a green, like an ivory.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, maybe yellow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about that people would be pregnant. I just assume it's like a bunch of hopeless romantic women who... And you got to think about it too.
There can't possibly be that many hopelessly romantic women.
As a hopeless romantic, I can say we're out there.
Well,
we're out there. We're out there. We're owning businesses. We're fighting the patriarchy, but we're still... We're still hopeless romantics at heart. It's different. And, well, the other thing, too, is you have to think about back then, in addition to, and it is an extremely good point that you bring up about the possibility of them being pregnant. But it's also, I mean, what were women supposed to do back then? Your entire life was centered around you getting married.
Right. And raising the children.
Your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Your whole existence. You're supposed to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're getting ready to get married and it's supposed to happen. And
he doesn't show up.
Right.
No excuse. No, like, I want to see other people or this just isn't working for me. It just...
Right. So I could totally see that. It makes plenty of sense to me back then.
Ghosted at the altar.
Yeah, and it's tragic. It's awful. And don't do that. And don't ghost people in real life either. Like, oh my goodness. Have some confidence. Just be like, hey, I don't want to see you. That's fine. You just stop talking to people.
Right.
Rude. That's so rude.
Just something as easy as like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Right. But people don't like conflict.
A bunch of freaking wimps. Okay, moving on. So, that makes it sound also like I get ghosted all the time, and I just want everyone to know that I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, thank you. But it only takes happening one time to really piss you off. So, it just only has to happen once in 30 years. Okay, so moving on. Let's move on. Have we talked enough about the lady in white? Are we ready to move on?
I think we're ready to move on.
Okay, I bought myself a really amazing birthday present, Beth.
Excellent. What did you buy?
Oh my God, I really knocked it out of the park for myself this year.
Okay.
Oh my God. And I'm telling you this because I think our listeners will be very interested.
I would assume that's why you're bringing it up
yes. now. I have, on July 20th, 6 days before I turn the big 3-0.
You should see Amelia right now. She's
I'm so excited.
She's got her hands spread out and she's holding on to the side of the table and she's trying to like stretch out the anticipation of what this is.
I'm so happy. I am getting a reading with Lori Cabot.
Excellent.
Do you know who that is? You don't know who that is?
I have no idea who that is.
I'm going to tell you who that is. Okay. Lori Cabot is one of the most well-known witches in all of Western society. She is responsible for Salem, Massachusetts being what it is today.
Excellent.
Yes. So she, part of her story is she was a witch back like in like the 60s and whatever. Mm-hmm. She's 86 years old.
Okay.
So like and that was my whole thing is like I didn't know if I wanted to get a reading with her. There's this astrologer, Lisa Kelly, I really like, and I was kind of going back and forth because it's not cheap. And I was like, well, like Lori Cabot, I mean, now or never, you know, at that point.
Right.
She was the first witch in Salem. I mean, obviously not. I mean, there were, well, maybe. I mean, depending on how you look at history.
There might have been some witches before that.
Right. But, so she started Crowhaven Quarter. Shout out to them. And shout out to Lorelei, who is another witch who now owns it. Lori had sold it to her, and she's a great person. She was the first person to ever put Manipura on her shelves, so I will always shout her out.
Oh, and sorry, what is Manipura?
Oh, wow, Manipura, thank you so much for asking, is my Reiki-infused business. We make bath bombs and pillow sprays and lip balm and all kinds of fun stuff, and you can check us out online at manipurabodyandmind.com. So, yes, I have the half-hour reading with Lori Cabot, the main witch. I'm so excited. I hope she tells me all kinds of cool, wacky things about my future. She has a face tattoo. I'm here for that. I've called some people up there and tried to get her to do an interview on our show, and I haven't gotten a call back.
Well,
but now I'm giving them $200, so I'm hoping I could maybe ask her again.
Maybe.
I can ask.
Yeah.
I can ask.
Maybe
she'll agree.
You should ask that as one of your questions about the future. When will she come and do?
I will ask at the end.
Okay.
I'll get like all my stuff first then. Okay. Because you don't want to like tick someone off.
Piss off the psychic.
The witch. She's a witch.
Oh, she's a witch.
She's a witch. Okay. She's a real witch. Yeah.
Does she have a cauldron? I'm sorry. Is that witch insensitive? Was that poor witch humor?
No, because I think a lot of them do.
Okay.
I know witches have actual cauldrons.
Okay. I think that would be neat to have a cauldron, like out in my backyard.
I would love one. Not for doing witch things, just for doing Amelia things.
Yeah,
but
just to have it and kind of like let my neighbor know that maybe I would throw him in there.
Yeah. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can make some soup. Who knows?
Yard soup?
Yeah.
That sounds excellent. I could make yard soup.
Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Okay. we have a drive-by ghosting that we can share with everybody. It's been a while since we did one of these, but if you're interested in having one of your drive-by ghostings, make sure that you just get it to us.
I think the best way to send it to us, if you can, record yourself saying it.
Yes.
On like a voice app, and then email it to us at ghosthuntinginnewengland@gmail.com.
I would agree. That is going to be the best way to do it, because then your voice gets to tell your story.
Yes.
So in this case, it was somebody who didn't want their voice on it, so they texted it to me, and I am going to read you their story. This is from John, which is his real name.
Hey, John.
I've known him for years and years and years, and here is his story. I'm not sure if it's so much of a ghost story. So my Nana passed away when I was in 4th grade, but when she was alive, her and I used to sneak up on each other and scare each other. Now my Nana was about 95 pounds, soaking wet, and needed a walker to get around. Sounds mean, right? Well, when I tell you she used to get me good, she would get me good. Laughy face, laughy face. Anyways, a few years after she passed, my sister and I were upstairs watching TV, and I kept hearing someone call my name. So I would mute the TV for a minute and listen, and would hear nothing, and I would go back to watching TV, and then I would hear it again. After about the 3rd or 4th time of me muting the TV, my sister turns to me and says, "What the hell are you doing?" So I asked if she heard someone calling my name, and she replied no, and looked at me funny. We were the only two home. So I get off the couch, and I check the bedrooms, because I was convinced that I heard it. Well, now I was making her nervous, so I just left it alone and went about the day. Later that night, everyone was downstairs, and we were laughing about it and going on about the night. Well, I got up to go do something and walked past the stairs to the 2nd floor, and there were no lights on up there. It was pitch black, and then I heard my name again. So I walk up a few stairs, and I look up behind me at the railing going to the back bedrooms, and there was my friggin' Nana. Scared the shit out of me. No one believed me, but when I tell you that she got the last laugh, holy hell.
That's pretty funny. That's a good one.
Nanas are the best. So thank you, John, for sharing that with us. And it just goes to show you that everybody will have a little ghost story that they can tell.
Yes, they do. And please send us yours. So now we go on to reviews. We've gotten 1. So please leave us more. And don't just hit 5 stars. Give us like something to read. Like, just give us something.
Yeah, we're really happy to read your reviews on here. And
I love that. Feed our ego. That they need to be fed. Okay, so this one comes from Adam. Both women are charming and keep everything interesting. They make the drive to work fly by, and new episodes can't come fast enough. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I miss hearing the local New England ghost stories, so this podcast helps make me feel like I am back at home. Thank you for such a great show. Well, thank you, Adam, so much for listening to our great show, and we really appreciate it, and keep on listening, and you're awesome.
Thanks, Adam. I wonder where you're at now. If you're originally from Connecticut, your message makes me think that you probably moved away, and I am intuitively saying North Carolina. Are you in North Carolina now?
Do you know Adam?
I don't, but there was just something about that screamed North Carolina.
Are you sure you didn't look at it before?
No.
Yes, he lives in North Carolina. You're right. There you go.
No, he doesn't. Stop it.
Yes, he does.
How do you know?
I'm on his Facebook.
Spooky.
Very spooky.
How did I know that?
I don't know. Sure you didn't look at it 2 weeks ago when you left us this review?
No, I'm sure. Oh. I never look at the reviews.
Right.
I always wait for you to read them because I think they're more fun that way. I can't always turn on and off my psychicness, but...
There you go. You did it that time.
Apparently.
That was pretty good. That was good. Big news. Yay! We are finally on the Serial Spirits podcast, which is coming out the same day as this podcast, which is July 10th. So that is great. And thank you so much to our friends over at Serial Spirits for having us and being there. And
we had a really great interview with Brendan Shea a few weeks ago. And so if you want to hear our chit chat with him, we'd love to have you listen to it.
Yes. And that's great.
I have one more thing to talk about.
All right.
And I kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but as you know, I went to PEI last week. And so there I am.
And can you remind me what PEI is short for?
Oh, PEI is short for Prince Edward Island.
Great.
And it's the loveliest place in the whole wide world. It's very